Hello, everyone, and welcome back to... We've just come back from our last break in the Quake Pro League. My name's Ketchup, joined by Flea, DJ Wheat. Lads, vengeurR versus RAISY, our final matchup of the day and our second featured matchup. We did just have Cypher versus Cooler, and it is one heavy-hitting head-to-head right into another. Starting with you, Flea, what do we think of this?
This is a very interesting matchup, right? First and foremost, because they are teammates, they are practice partners, They have played against each other so often that they are extremely familiar with each other's playstyle. And secondly, they both are among the best players in EU. RAISY currently ranked #1, vengeurR #3. Both have only lost a single match this entire series, and that really just shows how skilled they are. And I think that this one is going to provide us with many highlights, knowing how flashy these guys' playstyles are.
Yeah, I mean, these, it being Maestro, great. It makes it even more exciting. But I think that the two players' play styles clashing is even more exciting, right? They both definitely carry their own playbook. They both have their own styles, their own favorite maps, champions, etc. Most players do, but these two just seem to do an incredible dance together. And so getting an opportunity to see that, and I'm excited to check out what our picks and bans say, as I'm sure we'll find out in a moment, but definitely excited. Both these players are two players that everyone, I think, who follows the QPL is keeping a very, very close eye on. A lot of career left for both of these two. And so another exciting step happening right here on Sunday.
It always excites me to see two players that are a shining example of what a new generation of a truly legacy-based franchise can be.
Yeah.
You know, Quake is not only one of the most legendary esports out there, but one of the most legendary video games because it did so many seeds in the competitive circuit before a whole bunch of the viewers watching this stream were probably even born, to be honest. And that's just how far back Quake has gone. And many players that started back in those first days still around today. But you look at vengeurR and RAISY, two players that Quake Champions was definitely their breakout Quake. This was the game that puts them in the Quake history books. And they've already done that for sure. But the history book isn't written yet. It continues to go. There are still some blank pages there, and these are two shining examples of what being passionate about Quake in 2021 can lead to, you know, and I love that very much so. Now, what I'm also no doubt going to love is those picks and bans. When you're ready, let's take a look and see the first map, Corrupted Keep, Awoken, and then Ruins of Sarnath. Matchup-wise, you know, that clutch was taken away immediately.
Yeah, no surprise there either. I think that vengeurR, you know, he had been playing some clutch himself in recent history, but going up against RAISY, it was like, nah, no one gets to play the robot. Today bans it straight off the bat. So that will be Galena versus Strog on the first map. Tried and tested champions on Corrupted Keep. Loving the Strog pick. There's no railgun on the map, so that makes Peeker all that much more dangerous. And then on Awoken, we've got Doomslayer versus Visor. Movement versus information, before concluding it on Ruins of Sarnath, where we're going to see our very first Anarchy pick of the day as RAISY chooses Ranger for himself.
Yeah, I mean, we're not surprised to see the clutch ban. That's for sure. I'm also not surprised to see this map selection either. I'm really curious about that third map. I think that one will be a fun one to watch. It may determine the series. I don't know. But yeah, I think I really like what I see here, and I think we're certainly going to have a fair set of action coming at us here in the next 30 to 40 minutes.
If there's one thing we're seeing, it is familiarity. We have map picks, nothing out of the ordinary, none of the new stuff. Exile gone, Deep Embrace gone. Champion-wise, it's mediums all day, special guest Anarchy. Like, there is very much a lot of just traditional stuff going on here, and this is two players that have been grinding this game insanely since, you know, minus day one even. And we're starting off on the Corrupted Keep, sometimes known as RAISY's Keep, you know, the original dominant force on this map from a few years ago at this point. And I think at this point, all we are left with, starting with you, Flea, is predictions.
I mean, looking at their previous history, right, I feel like it is RAISY who consistently manages to beat his teammate and do better, especially when it comes to those finals and the overall rankings as well. So I am going to go with RAISY, but vengeurR, he can very well surprise, and he has absolutely done it in the past. It all depends on whether or not his shots are on, but if they are, then I think there's very few players who can really stand up against this Italian master and live to tell the tale.
I'm going to have to side with the Italians today. It's been a good day for Italian esports players today, and I wonder if vengeurR might actually carry that along for the ride here. So I'm going to go against my own prediction and just say 2-1 for vengeurR.
I think so too. I mean, it's very much a 2-1 is the absolute safest bet here. You almost feel like we have late in the game anyway. This could just be a 50-50 chance for all I know. They have such close games all the time. But in the spirit of Italian esports, let's go 2-1 vengeurR. And on that note, Flea, we're going to have to say goodbye to you for one series. But don't worry, we'll bring you back in to close the show. But you can go have a bit of a break, watch with the rest of the stream. And it's now going to be myself and DJ Wee. So what can we say about these two players that hasn't been said a million times over? We've just covered most of it. Looks like right now we are loading into Corrupted Keep. This one's going to be a brawl, as Corrupted Keep always is. What happens here stays here.
Yeah, and you know what I'm looking for, Ketchup, is how does this game start? Is it going to start with both players in their comfort zone, like let's just go at it? Or will it be more like the Cooler Cypher series where it's like we're going to start, we're going to feel each other out, see how they're playing? We've talked to vengeurR, we've talked with RAISY about playing their teammates before, and both of them have commented that like, hey, it's not an easy thing to do because they're so used to my play style. And so in these cases, I think they're also looking for ways to adjust, shift things around, try things a little bit differently. And that is ultimately always an interesting thing to see. So I'm looking for these first, couple minutes to see how each player will kind of, how they will play it out. And if they'll just come in, in fifth gear.
I mean, we've probably lost count of how many times they've played each other in practice games on a map like Keep, where there are a bunch of different map starts you can go with. Are we going to see the traditional, I take an item, you take an item? Is someone going to do something really bizarre at the very beginning? I think that's what we're keeping an eye on. Know your enemy. And if you know them inside and out, then you have to start going against the grain a little bit. But it looks like we're going to be starting things off from RAISY's point of view. The items, vengeurR able to take the heavy, but actually took a little bit of time, so there could be somewhat of a split already. This is a tiny map. In 5 seconds, 4 seconds or so, that's not a huge amount. But on this map, especially with the movement of like RAISY, that can happen.
Oh, and we see an exchange of rockets here at the very beginning. RAISY going in. He smells blood. Tried to get the LG damage off, but some good rockets coming out by vengeurR. And both players kind of limping away after that first match. And I guess they answered our question, Ketchup. They want to play hot and heavy in this one, as Mega and Heavy are picked up. And to your point, starting out with a few seconds in between these two major items, it'll be interesting to see if anyone does delay to kind of to want to increase that even more.
Looks like the fight's going to somewhat break out, but no commitment just yet. However, that rocket was fantastic. vengeurR springing the trap. And now with this mega spawning, actually looks like there will in fact be an even split on the items now. So that first frag, items had very little to do with it running through. Setting a perfect trap there, vengeurR. That's the kind of just immediate rocket trap that I kind of didn't expect to see so early, to be honest. Not with these two players.
Yeah, and maybe vengeurR is trying to change it up, just knowing that RAISY's going to be boot scooting around the map, and so slowing it down allows him to kind of have an element of surprise. Misses that heavy and is forced to go through the teleporter. And look at that, RAISY knows that he's going to chase after this one, and he does get the frag, tying this up. A great decision on his part. The moment he saw his opponent miss that heavy, he went in for the kill.
I mean, that was absolute dedication to the frag right there. Hitting some really nice LG and at the same time just committing all the way through. Now, the kamikaze's good, rocket's even better. and just in time for a heavy to spawn, but vengeurR spawning near Rocket side is at least going to be able to take this Mega, but it's not going to be enough. You know, you've only just been able to pick up an LG, only a few rockets left. That's a great start though. RAISY looking a bit worse for wear, sticking around, but doing a bunch of damage in the process, but not enough, Wheat.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that RAISY decided to stick around there after getting hit with that second rocket, but you know, RAISY's confident in his play, and I can't, you know, he should be. I can't really blame him. The mistakes will still be made, and in that one, it is going to result in a tie once again. vengeurR grabbing that Mega. His opponent knows what's going on, goes to the teleporter himself, but it looks like vengeurR will be able to get out of here. No problem. We see long-range damage become a pretty key aspect of this particular map here. And look at this, vengeurR hurting pretty badly. He's got to make his way over to the red room, grab the extra 50, and then also the light armor, but it looks like he might have to give up heavy as a result.
Yeah, the problem with going towards this room is that, you know, if you've played this map once or twice, for RAISY, probably quite obvious that vengeurR was going to be in there, so it was a very easy place for him to keep him at bay while those major items were spawning. And on that note, RAISY has been able to get both of them speeding round the corner, and I like that pathing, but hang on!
Whoa!
Somehow that fight went south? RAISY! He hit a certain angle, so predictive rockets were really hard to land, yet somehow vengeurR, again, 100 damage, able to find some out of this world rocket hits.
Wow, and he's going for it. Down to 10 points of health. He knows his opponent's low. vengeurR is going to stick his neck out literally, and does manage to get the frag as a result. And then even off the spawn, catches his opponent down to 11 points of health, and it's going to be peekr to finish that one off. Maybe got a little bit too confident there after that frag, but I appreciate the effort. He does manage to clean it up, and so that does end up going down in his favor. But look at this, RAISY with some heavy machine gun damage right off of the spawn, switches to the shotgun for the kill, and we're tied again, catch up. 4-4, and this is, I think, some of the action that people were looking for in that last matchup, and we are definitely getting it from the Maestro boys.
We really need to give a shout out to RAISY's lightning gun so far. The damage that he's got in such a short space of time has been out of this world and continuing to be so. vengeurR keeps himself healthy with a totem, but with no armor and an LG like RAISY's, that is only going to last so long. Look at it! He barely looks at him, and it's absolute deletion at hand. Now, vengeurR is going to use cover. Having the high ground does give him, in theory, a better chance, but somehow RAISY's still able to find the way. vengeurR has to be so careful here. What's the play going to be? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. RAISY picks it up all the same.
Wow, I mean, vengeurR knew RAISY was low, and vengeurR is going to be able to grab the Mega's opponent deciding to go for the heavy. LG's coming out yet again, and RAISY finds himself in a similar position as he did in the last frag, where yes, he got the frag, but he is very, very low. vengeurR knows that. Ooh. Nice rocket coming out there, a medium totem, and there it is, the rocket to clean it up and make this game now 6-5. RAISY still with the lead. We've got a lot of time left, 5 minutes, and the pace of this game is chaotic.
Oh, that
Nice.
LG from vengeurR. Almost won 100% during that sequence. RAISY getting caught jumping down and paying the iron price for it as now the Mega about to spawn, but ooh. Working in a cute little rocket jump in the process here is vengeurR, who's built himself an impressive stack. He's got a good call out on the spawn. There's no weapons here for RAISY. RAISY goes in for the kamikaze because it's all he has, but it will be enough to take the fight in his favor. Wow, that was clutch.
That was really nice, and we saw some great reads by both players in that last exchange, and we could have another one right here. Shotgun is out. His opponent knows it can. Oh, he gets it even after picking up the heavy. Nicely done. But it's the timing of the Mega was not very friendly there and not kind to vengeurR, as we are tied right back up 8-8. Neither of these players given the other an inch. Even if they've gotten out, none of these frags have been super clean. It's resulted in nice follow-ups, and look at that huge shotgun damage, but it's not going to matter. RAISY with the mid-air for the frag.
They have an absolute, it's got to be down to the digit awareness of each other's health, no matter what. Now, RAISY gets the suicide there. Doesn't really matter, because I think he was going to get killed by the LG anyway.
I think so.
So that mishap really doesn't seem to matter too much, but it will even things out with vengeurR working on a sizable lead in stack, but how long will that last? RAISY caught with no good weapons. This, by all means, should be a free pickup for vengeurR. The super shotgun's okay, but it's not going to be enough. The lead now, Italian taking it over again, just in time for this heavy to spawn. And this has been one of the most back and forth maps that we've had this stage. It has to be. Like this, it's hard to tell who has an upper hand. Impossible even.
It really is. Every time you think that one player will kind of take it forward, the other is saying, nope, not going to happen. RAISY is getting very, very
he ran out.
Thirsty. Yes, he did. And that could have been a frag catch-up, but it wasn't. And we are tied yet again.
Now, vengeurR, a good spawn. He has plenty of stack to work with. Pushes forward. The totem just behind him. That is going to divert attention long enough. Will it be enough? Wow. Yes! Enough attention to reduce that incoming damage that RAISY was done for. But we still have 2 minutes on the clock and 19 frags total.
Yeah, really impressive, the game that they're putting on there. Huge damage coming out by that peeker. Puts him down to 32. vengeurR now is going to grab a couple of health bubbles and get back up. But I believe he kind of lost track on where his opponent is. And then RAISY suddenly coming out of nowhere. Mega is going to be up any moment. And there it is, RAISY on top of it. vengeurR very, very low. So these next few moments are going to be very important. But look at that. A beautiful lightning stream coming out. Not once, but twice. vengeurR still low. But he stops the stack and the push from RAISY. It came at a critical time.
Health on tap combined with just really nice positioning, giving vengeurR so much more damage than RAISY was prepared for. However, as we go into the closing moments of this first map, watch out for the peeker. I think he did manage to land a hit at least, but he's still weak. But where's the health? Where's the resources? The perfect call out from RAISY. But he does take 100 damage. That was as much damage as vengeurR was going to get, but can he refrag from this? Heavy's gone for 10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, vengeurR knows it too, and unfortunately, I think giving his opponent just too much time. RAISY, though, played it smart, didn't really let himself be seen off of the spawn either. We're tied 10 to 10, less than a minute left to go. One rocket does hit from down below, and certainly it is vengeurR with a little bit better stack advantage given all that armor. We're going to have, we have peeker coming out, and again, we see this fight that's happened between these two with the LGs from top to bottom several times, but there's the chase, and LG going out, and it does connect, and vengeurR takes the one frag lead,
that could
10-11, with less than 20 seconds left to go.
It could be it, because we have the heavy about to spawn, vengeurR, a gigantic amount of armor. And I think he goes for the less obvious direction, doesn't go straight into the room. I really like that. vengeurR's goal here, keep him far away. But hang on, overstaying his welcome a little bit as the heavy machine gun damage is insane and RAISY somehow finds it. Are you serious?
I mean, I think he definitely thought that he had it. We're going into sudden death. We're tied 11-11. I feel like vengeurR, this was his game to lose, and he handed it back to RAISY and said, this is a perfectly cooked steak. Why don't you eat it right here? And now we're 15 seconds in, and it is like the score is 0-0. The next frag will determine the winner. Rockets raining down from the middle. We got a sneak of the Mega coming out by vengeurR, and RAISY from down below. Peeker does go out. He's going to continue to try to harass with this LG. Does get some good hits on that stream and leaves with a little bit of armor. Now we're going to make our way over to the heavy.
vengeurR hanging around just a little bit longer to wait for that light armor and nail gun to spawn. I guess he's going to need it right now with how much damage RAISY has. The thing that kept him in that fight was just perfect machine gun and then perfect LG in the blink of an eye. Does he push forward? Looks like he has it in mind. RAISY's stack is fearsome, but vengeurR, he has shown so many times he's the master of playing from behind, but is this too much of a task? Because RAISY has the movement over him. You can't run away.
Oh, it was right there. He turned around, tried to throw out peeker. It was a great, great move, and he knows where his opponent is, and vengeurR is very much trying to stay out of the sight lines of RAISY to try to get him some sort of a stack. He knows he cannot go in against a fight. There's a steal of that light and another of the Mega. The major items have absolutely been dominated by RAISY here in the last couple moments, especially here in sudden death, and these two still going to take and throw out heavy haymakers here to determine the winner of map number 1.
Scary game to play for vengeurR, to be in a position to make your presence known, get some damage so they can't just run away with control. You yourself are within shootable distance to do that. And with the accuracy RAISY's been bringing forward, his absolute weapon play has been disgusting. The amount of range he's brought forward. vengeurR has to respect it, but this is a scary position to be in, no doubt. The lead continues for RAISY in terms of overall stack. He's going in. Max top speed. I like the patience. Don't just go into those rockets. Don't give up that lead you've worked so hard for. But he's still on heavy, and he can't stop it from being taken.
Yeah, vengeur's doing an amazing defensive dance right now, but RAISY's not letting it frustrate him. He's being patient, and he is waiting for his opportunity to strike, and this could be it. A rocket does pop him up in the air, but he gets a ton of LG damage off. He just needs one more solid hit. He will sneak down, dip in, grab that Mega, almost ends up landing it. There's just a little bit of health left for vengeurR. RAISY going to go into this heavy. How's it going to play out? Heavy picked up around the corner, tries to dodge away, and there it is. And RAISY pulls out that final frag, and Ketchup so much to talk there because that was vengeur's game for sure. Where he was, the lead he had, and the time left, I think he overstayed his welcome a couple of seconds too long, and it resulted in the sudden death overtime.
It was such a bizarre closing moment of the 10 minutes because, you know, with a sizable lead and with so much distance between you, it seemed like the intention was to push forward and kind of try and keep RAISY locked down so RAISY couldn't actually chase him in those closing moments. It just so happens that RAISY hit so much damage with both machine gun and LG that he got exactly the right amount he needed at just the right time, which is the kind of thing I don't think many players in the world would have been able to pull off in those conditions yet. RAISY is RAISY for a reason, I suppose. And not much time to sit and reflect on it because they traded. I'm looking at this replay here because, you know, we are hitting those final moments. I wonder what point of view we captured it from because that was insane how much damage he got. Okay, never mind. I don't think we quite got it, but you saw what happened.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things where you really always got to be careful because RAISY's got nothing to lose. Down by one, you kind of have to attack. And I felt like at that point, vengeurR was probably saying, great, I'm in a great position. I have got the better stack. But then, you know, as he turned around, you kind of just saw RAISY vault over the statue. And it's like, oh, this is not good. And I even think that if you went back and looked at it, you'd see almost some indecisiveness from vengeurR. He knew where he needed to go. He was just a little late getting there. And, you know, surprising to see, but also just shows you that you cannot let up on the gas at any point. Even if you have that one frag lead, there's 7 seconds left, there can still be a way, especially a map like Keep. It can happen. We've seen it happen before. Great play by both players, but I think RAISY definitely earns the little medal there on that one for knowing that I've got to make a move and successfully pulling that move off. And then, of course, getting the overtime frag. That's important too. Don't let me take that away from him.
Absolutely. You know, a wise man once said there's still time. But as we now go on to the next map here, which will be Awoken, you know, we're going from one small map into another, which has actually been quite a recurring theme with these two players today, is that we probably are going to be thrown down all map long. And now the battle of the mediums continues, as I believe there's a visor here. And we'll double check. I believe Doomslayer as well. I have a memory like a sieve, which is a great tool as a commentator. It was literally just right in front of me. Yeah, here we are. But we load into this next map, Awoken, a map that for the longest time vengeurR was considered one of the strongest on, but that was about a year ago. Everyone's gotten so used to everything now, it's hard to say.
Right. I mean, even to the last map's point, right? RAISY's Keep, yes, he won the game, but it wasn't like he won it, you know, decisively. It was, it could have been anyone's game at any moment. But here we are, and equalized once again. We're popping it into this one on Awoken and going to kick things off with last map's winner, RAISY, who's going to immediately throw out that piercing sight to get an idea where his opponent is. But despite landing two incredibly nice rails, vengeurR is the one who's going to scoop up that first frag. 0-1 now. Catch up as you know, vengeurR wants to kick things off with style here in the first moments of this second game, and so far he has.
And looking at the matchup alone on paper, if we're talking champion versus champion, Doomslayer, one of the most absolute meta champions on Awoken because of the double jump, the fact that you haven't really got to sacrifice anything to maneuver around. It's very easy. Haven't got to worry about it. You can focus entirely on positioning. And then RAISY going in for pure information now. The objective here, do as much damage as you can. vengeurR is railable, and you had the super shotgun. Yo, RAISY had that in his mind, and if he got that, it would have been a steal, but not quite.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know there was like one way in which RAISY probably got out of that situation that he was in. That was obviously not the one that we just saw here, but vengeur's going to pad his lead by an additional frag here, and I think that was probably the smart play. They probably could have done that dance for quite a bit, catch up, and it might just be better to go ahead and make a move, give up that frag, and then continue the game. But here we are, a minute and 20 seconds in, and still as high octane and high energy as the first game was.
Yeah, RAISY going down their jump pad was definitely the expected result. He jumped down there specifically to take away Heavy, and the second he went down, vengeurR, he was behind for a considerable amount of time, and it gave RAISY an opportunity to take items that he really needed. So he definitely kind of got his objective, and hey, look, I can see the frag. We've still got like 8 minutes left of this map.
Yeah.
I can absolutely make this work. But the defensive plays again from vengeurR, trying to keep you away from Heavy. LG versus LG, but someone has armor and someone does not. vengeurR 3-0, gets a good rail fresh off the spawn as well. And although he's in position for Mega, definitely too early, so we'll see if we can create some space first, maybe.
Yeah, these two players. Ooh, nicely done as vengeurR increases his lead by 4 now. RAISY still yet to get on the board, and we definitely saw these two warm up their LGs in the first map on Keep, but I'd have to say vengeurR is the one who's come out on top in most of these battles, and another great double rocket to a rail. And RAISY once again finding himself very low, but as you can see, vengeurR really bringing that Doom out in nice style, allowing him to better control different areas of this map, and it is really paying off so far.
You can see picking up enough health where you can decide, right, now is my time to push. vengeurR looking for a little bit of rocket damage. The tri-bolt as well to further deny. I like the fact that he even pushed the tri-bolt out even further just in case RAISY went through, and it was a perfect call out because he'll be bang on the money. Only a rocket launcher in hand for RAISY, but still respect being shown by vengeurR, who does not want to get hit by 100. Hits 151 though in 2 rockets. Not too shabby. And he should be able to deny Mega for yet another time. This is looking like vengeur's map so far. I don't want to commentators curse him, but he's doing well.
I mean, he really is. Everything that I'm seeing is super impressive out of vengeurR right now, and perhaps he's using the last map loss as kind of a catalyst to really turn it up in this one. He's doing a great job controlling the items here, as he's definitely up in heavies and he's actually down in heavies and in megas, but he's still not affecting his ability to frag here, and more impressive maybe his rail, which has got 17 shots and 58%. But I don't want to say he looks like a different player. He looks like just a more confident player.
vengeurR is, I think, the biggest example of someone who doesn't necessarily want to spend every game about control, and specifically just having the items. And we've seen that proven time and time again, this being no exception. Now, he'll get control if he can. He has had his fair share of dominant matches where he just had everything, but in this kind of matchup, it's not just one set in stone meta. vengeurR playing it the way that works for him.
Yeah, and RAISY kind of looks. It's a rare sight we see, but I think he kind of looks. I'm gonna use the word lost, right? It's just like he's hitting some shots, but he's oftentimes being surprised by vengeurR, getting hit with a shot that maybe he didn't expect to hit. And I completely expect that he can kind of shake this off. Like, it's just a matter of the tempo that we've seen here in the first 5 minutes. And there he catches his opponent off guard there with a rocket, going to chase after with the LG. And there it is. All right, he found the map catch up, and he's going to now try to follow to the X and see if that can't bring it back and tie this game up.
That prediction rocket and just catching that point was even more impressive by the fact that RAISY had 13 seconds until Piercing Sight came back. That was purely just, he was making a decision, making a read, which I do think that kind of trap almost survives, but he won't. I think he survived longer than he should have anyway in that exchange. But things like that, where you're sitting right underneath LG, that's not a common area that you see a lot of people check. And I think this is where the training partner element comes in. They've probably grinded on Awoken all the time, and maybe that has become a rather popular hiding spot for one or the other, that you just have it in your muscle memory now to just check every now and then.
Yeah, RAISY with some good LG damage there, but still having to back off. He's going to hit that piercing sight, knows exactly where his opponent is. Waiting for that mega, which is up any moment. Rocket's going out. Nice rail as well. Oh my god, I thought RAISY was toast coming around that corner. I bet vengeurR did too, but he manages to land the rail, and vengeurR does come back and pick it up. But 4-8 as the gap is closing. Catch up.
vengeur's still looking for ultimate denial no matter what. If you can keep RAISY on this side of spawn, you know that RAISY's only going to have an LG for now. I say for now is the key word because we are dawning on a rocket, but no opportunity to take it. The item was more important, but the item goes to vengeurR now. He will have a rocket this time, but we're 3 seconds away from heavy. vengeurR does, in theory, have the advantage here. Yeah, he's not even going to hang around. RAISY is not going to try and get an angle, because what's he going to do? Fire a rocket from that far away? Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, probably not. And vengeurR right now has a stack of a hunter. He could really put some heavy pressure on, and that looks like what he's going to do without losing sight of major items here, as he's still fighting around that mega, knows that it's up, and if he plays his cards right, he should be able to easily scoop up a heavy here too. Maybe not. Can't quite get over there. In fact, RAISY doing a great job defending with that rail, but down in the pit, rails exchange yet again, and another one from vengeurR. Wow, he's just popping them out everywhere.
Straight up reaction, that one. However, the LG fight will come off better for RAISY, who is narrowly behind, only just. Again, never count either side out. RAISY already demonstrating that on the corrupted keep. He is a different type of animal sometimes. The fact that you look at the fact that there's 7 seconds and somehow here we are tying the knot. Ridiculous display, and that was just map 1. Ooh, vengeurR able to prevent the ring out, but he can't prevent the Gib, and the torso doing a nice little twirly action there for us. Thank you very much.
I feel like that was a really big frag for potential, comeback here by RAISY. He needed that one. We've got 2 minutes, and he needs 4 frags to tie it up. So vengeurR has to change things up a little bit here. Now, there's only going to be maybe one more piercing sight left in this one, so he's going to have to rely on those good old-fashioned map knowledge and player location skills. So we got a rocket jump up the jump pad, still looking for his opponent, has a great idea where he is, goes in for the run, the rocket shot, but as you can see here, there he stops him with the direct rocket, but a lot of time ticking away, catch up.
The only reason I would think that we might see another piercing sight is because Doom isn't using Berserk.
True.
So there's gonna be like a few more hourglasses handy, which might help out, but the rockets! RAISY took so much damage. He's got basically, he was on nearly 1 HP. Has the armor, but that's it. Done. Boom. And just like that, vengeurR did so much damage in that fight that his task was done. You know you can spawn, refrag, and go right back in there, and I'm willing to call this one.
Yeah, I agree. A minute left to go. 4 frags. Going to be pretty tough. Piercing sight or not. vengeurR played an amazing game. I mean, in that last game, I think we can all agree it was incredible display by both players. There's a rocket jump for at least one more kill here. And we'll let this one play out. RAISY is still going for it, and vengeur's given him an opportunity to do some damage here. But in the last 20 seconds now, we're gonna close this one. But I think we can all agree that vengeurR and RAISY, that first game could have gone either way, right? In that last couple minutes, and even in sudden death. But this one was definitely vengeur's game to lose. He was so high up early on. He played very smart. He was hitting his shots. He was controlling items, and RAISY just didn't quite ever seem to find an avenue in order to really bring it back. He did land some nice frags, a lot of trades back and forth, but vengeurR taking map 1, and I'm excited that we're going to map 3 to decide the series.
Looking at the item control by the later stages, that was definitely, I think, a tale of 2 parts. How at the very beginning, vengeurR did create himself quite a sizable lead, and RAISY started to catch up just a little bit, but vengeurR always kind of one step ahead in that respect. And eventually, when things stabilized, we kind of started to see a more conventional match of just, always having items on hand. But vengeurR was happy to kind of just concede it a little bit at that point. At the very start of the map, he wasn't really fussed with RAISY having all of the items, so long as he didn't have all of the weapons. That was the big thing, is that vengeurR consistently kind of just outgunned him every time they had an exchange, and up until those closing moments, I mean, that was just vengeurR showing that why he's such a powerhouse on this map. But we're starting to go into the first time now we're going to see different weight classes, you know, the different size champions. vengeur's going in with the Anarchy, and it's Ranger coming in for RAISY. This is the decider, but it's a matchup that I feel like I haven't seen in some time. It makes me feel kind of nostalgic over when Quake Champions first hit the scene, where you saw a fair amount of Anarchy and Ranger as the head-to-head matchup, but I don't know whether it's just me missing the matches, but we just haven't seen that so much recently.
Yeah, I mean, maybe few and far between kind of matches here, and I think it will make for a very, very interesting Ruins matchup. I mean, a lot can go either way depending on who's in the lead, who has control. So I don't know. I'm just very excited to catch up that our third map will decide the series. You know, being up one map apiece across the board, it makes this one even more special because everything is on the line here, as it's the #1 spot for RAISY, and potentially we could see vengeurR and RAISY sharing or maybe even swapping positions here for the first time. RAISY's held pretty tightly to that through the second stage here of Season 2. So a lot riding on this one map.
I'd like to let everyone know, by the way, that for this third map, we have not loaded into a next map as fast as we did just now. Like, these two players, we went back into the lobby, and within a few seconds, it comes up as searching for match. Like, they're like, yeah, go back in, go, play again. Warm-up's coming to an end. It's going to be Ruins of Sarnath, our final destination of today's Quake Pro League, with two titans, the Maestro boys, RAISY, vengeurR. One map decides a winner. Let's do it.
Going to be looking through RAISY's eyes as we kick things off here in our third and final map, the one that will determine who wins this series. vengeurR did grab the Mega, and RAISY got himself the Heavy. The rails are out already, and there's the first one hit by RAISY. He's going to throw the orb out, not to follow up with that. Rockets flying in from vengeurR with the rails shooting back and forth as well. A couple of real nice rockets, and then the follow-up with the LG, and that first frag in the first 30 seconds is going to go to vengeurR.
Now, RAISY having a rocket launcher in hand, but not an opportunity to do much with it, does land a pretty respectable amount of damage. However, vengeurR still in control, and the Mega to do it! Fresh off spawn, that is 2 rockets, 200 damage. That is good math right there.
You do not want to get too far behind here on Ruins, I think, versus a vengeurR on Anarchy. But, oh, that's not good. That's not good. Did you know that Anarchy can fly? Because that's what we just saw there. RAISY picking up his first frag with a beautifully... It was a support LG, except it was killing his opponent. And he picks up the first frag. Now 1 minute, 18 seconds in. RAISY's on the board.
And vengeurR having to play one of his patented out-of-control game plans, because if you could see what I could see right now, you'd be like, how does the kid come back from this? Find out next week. This is like an anime protagonist moment. Unfortunately, he died. So it's not quite. But the thought that counts. It's now 3-2, vengeurR spawning, and it is that game of momentum, because what's a thing that lights have in common in Duel? They don't spawn with no bloody armor, and that can be a real problem when you're behind. vengeurR keeping this absolute ferocity, the intensity up, because you can't really allow someone to bully you. You know, he's in the lead for frags, but RAISY's definitely the one that's dictating what's going on right now.
Yeah, you can't. Oh, rockets from down below. Whoa, the tables were turned, but it didn't matter. RAISY just dropping down 2 rocks like they're boulders falling from the mountains, and he ties this game up. And I guess he heard us say that you probably don't want to let your opponent get too much of a lead here on this map, because within 1 minute, he closes the gap completely, and we are tied back up. vengeurR suddenly starting out so strong, and RAISY just kind of stopping, taking a couple breaths, and suddenly we're seeing a completely different player. The eject comes out, but a couple of direct rockets followed up by the LG will give RAISY the lead for the first time in this matchup catch-up, and RAISY is saying, I am not going to give up my #1 spot. You're a great player, vengeurR, but I need this map win.
I mean, that drop down near Heavy really had such make way for Willy energy, but as we go in towards this Mega. The fight that breaks out. RAISY, weak for sure. vengeurR, plenty of health in the tank and only 20 seconds until injection. So if he gets a frag now, he can start working on some pretty good momentum. But I like how he's pushing forward. Okay, he knows that RAISY's weak. He has item timing. So a bit of a disengage. Not the kind of disengage you would expect. Normally, I think we would definitely see players push forward here. But vengeurR, the man with the plan. And this first part of the plan is going to be to get the heavy. He has injection, which he's now going to pop. And is he confident that he can take out now a freshly megaed up RAISY? They're basically even not so much anymore now that rail connected.
There's a nice rail from the top, and a second one is going to land on RAISY. RAISY now making his way through the back hallway. And we'll have an opportunity to drop down to heavy if he wants to from the back, but decides no, he's going to go for the light and actually misses that, giving the opportunity for vengeurR to finally scoop up a heavy. Now we'll have a fight over by Mega. Mega's up, Dire Orb's out, it hits the wall. He does not manage to travel through that one. And that will be both of the, there'll be split items for both these players with about 7 seconds separating the two, which makes for a very interesting sort of setup for what could happen in the next spawn. But here, back and forth rockets. vengeurR does come out on top of that one with a shotgun blast to tie it back up 4-4.
The Anarchy plan so far coming into almost perfect play, getting the damage, but vengeurR has been managing his injection and the hourglasses around it, that even though RAISY takes a Mega, vengeurR still has an injection ready to go. So it's not actually like the divide between HP is that extreme. As long as vengeurR takes heavy and keeps his hourglasses up, RAISY's Mega is not going to do as much as it otherwise would. So vengeurR is always able to fight and establish himself.
Yeah. And there we're going to see, both of the 1 second until Mega. I thought that it might have come a little bit too early, but that was actually perfect timing. He sat on top of it, gained that position, and still tied up. And that puts both of the major items in the hands of RAISY as we're about to come up for another round. vengeurR somehow managing to do quite a bit of damage there, but RAISY's going to come on in. One rocket in, does connect, going to file up with the LG, pushes vengeurR away. vengeurR does manage to grab it. Can he escape, though? He does, and even getting hit with the rail, lands that perfect rocket around the corner, takes the lead yet again, 5-4. Oh!
Whoa, man caught sick air with that one. 5-5. This is the exact final map that I think we were all hoping for and or expecting. And it absolutely is delivering so far. It's a shame to say that we only have about 4 minutes left of it. vengeurR gets caught in the jump pad and RAISY hits the rail. Disgusting.
He is on fire now. Whatever happened in the last couple of minutes, catch-up has changed the game plan here for RAISY. He has just been hitting an incredible amount of shots that he needs to. He's got some great predictions on where his opponent will be, and his control of major items has been impeccable here. So he's up by 1, which is still not a whole lot here with 4 minutes still left to go. Catch up. A lot of time to be played out. A fight here at the heavy. A rail as RAISY comes down and trying to follow up with a couple of rockets as well. vengeurR manages to do the dance around the columns and get the frag with the lightning gun, tying it back up 6-6. This back and forth is insane.
And the lightning gun was all RAISY had to work with. Now a rail somehow needs to find an opening, with vengeurR controlling a large amount of this map so far. Heavy, 6 seconds away. RAISY having to be left with the scraps. The sign of being, out of positional control here in Ruins of Sarnath, where heavy is in play. Wait a minute, RAISY uses the orb, but no, can't reach it in time, and vengeurR destroys, and then takes the heavy.
I like the idea. Catch up. The idea was great. It did not execute, I think, the way he wanted to. RAISY now still trying to chase this frag to potentially tie it back up, but will have to back off as he does grab a light and is in a little bit better spot. Looking at vengeurR now, who is going to be making his way down to heavy. A few seconds early on this one. Gives him an opportunity to set up. He's had some pretty unfortunate exchanges happen there in the heavy room, but this time he comes out clean.
There's plenty of time left of this map for RAISY to get the one frag he needs, but vengeurR is not going to make it easy. I really like that combination, but vengeurR's ready to chase it down! Oh, dearie me. And he catches the perfect spawn, RAISY. Stuck. Really not much he can do. There's no weapons. He only has a machine gun, and that's as good as it's going to get. Unfortunately for him, vengeurR secures yet another frag, and he has all the weapons. RAISY, another really not so good spawn. Thankfully, vengeurR wasn't particularly healthy either, so he is able to fight away, but he still hasn't got a lot of weapons. Oh.
This is great for vengeurR. That last spawn frag, obviously good because it resulted in a frag, but more importantly, it just resulted in a time sink, right? There was a solid 20 seconds that went by, hiding behind pillars and whatnot, and even that follow-up frag that RAISY was trying to grab, it just ticked more seconds off the clock, and I think that vengeurR up by 2, and then making it 3, he's pretty low, could still get tagged here by RAISY, does manage to make his way out. That is potentially there to set him up to seal a victory on map number 3. Now, still a minute and 10 seconds remaining. Anything can happen, but how he is playing right now, he is playing. He's not going to let game 1 or game 3 slip away like game 1 did.
Expecting RAISY to stick around, but he won't quite. Having to run away and take that mega. Again, you said time sink, quite rightly so. RAISY is running out of it. At this point, vengeurR playing this retreat game has the injection, pops it immediately because there's plenty of hourglasses left to take if he even needs to at this point. But this is where the speed difference applies. We talk about how the light champions, they're squishy, they're vulnerable. But if they have the lead and they're having to play this runaway game and they have a few minutes left to go, vengeurR is going to be able to do exactly that with the Anarchy and using this to secure himself a 2-1 victory over RAISY. 20 seconds left on the clock. This is not mathematically possible. The GG's coming out. Big respect all round, but a good day for Italian esports, I think, DJ Wheat.
It is. It is vengeurR pulling it out there. And I mean, it's kind of incredible catch up if you think about that could have been a 3-0 for vengeurR. A little bit different decision making there at the beginning, and that could have completely changed. And that's really impressive. vengeur's, he's been high up on the ranks most of this stage 2 here for season 2, but RAISY hasn't really budged from that first place spot. And this is the first time that we're kind of seeing that the armor is penetrable. And I'm not surprised that it was vengeurR who managed to stick a spear in between those joints and land a killing blow.
I think what I really liked about that final map too was like the closing moments of vengeur's feed, where we kind of saw that big sigh of relief and kind of like not really pop off, but you could see how happy he was to get that win right before we cut away. So I'm looking forward to being able to hopefully interview him. We have a lot to talk about off the back of that one. But before we chat any further, Flea, my man, welcome back. Dude, what do you think?
One of the best series of the day, no
You're
doubt
muted.
about it.
Oh, no,
We've seen a lot of.
I muted. That's my
we've
bad.
seen
Keep going. I totally just
several-
got in the way of things. Don't mind me.
Unbelievable. We've seen so many really close games, very low score lines, competitive to the last moment where players were extremely disciplined and patient throughout the entirety of the map. And then we get this, just an absolute brawl from the first minutes till the last on every single map. And it was beautiful to see. Very nice contrast between some of the games we saw earlier. I loved vengeurR being so happy and having so much fun as well. It was evident just looking at his cam. He was smiling for so much of this series. And I'm definitely curious to ask him a question about that. But this was great. One of the best series of the entire day. Close until the end. Went to the last final map. Congratulations, vengeurR.
Flea, let me ask you a question. What did you think about that final frag? Well, not the final frag, not the sudden death frag, the final frag in the 10 minutes of regulation in map number 1, right? Where it seemed like vengeurR had a clear room and some flexibility to potentially take that game, turtle it up a little bit, pull out the win. What did you think about that last few moments?
I hope I'm thinking about the same frag because I was having dinner, so I didn't quite catch everything. But there were some very risky plays towards the end there. And I think Yeah, Wenger, ultimately it didn't go his way. There were a few situations where I really thought he was going to turn everything around, mainly when RAISY was up towards LG and he was sitting towards the entrance of the red room. I don't know if that's exactly which one you're referring to, but RAISY just tried jumping down twice when Wenger was an almost no stack, and he just sent him flying right back with the LG. Yeah, was a really good finisher to that map. And then, of course, the overtime as well.
Yeah. We just created so many different moments there throughout all three maps that it was, man, too close to call. Really, really too close to call. And you were quite, you were right there, Wheat, where we look at that first map, and that for me is the big question that I will ask Wenger when we come through, is that the closing moments of map 1 that by all means should have been a win for vengeurR, but RAISY just pulled off this ridiculous display of accuracy, speed, pace, the whole bag, really, that this could have been a surprising 3-0, which, although they're two of the best, would have been an upset because no one expects either of them to 3-0 each other. Wasn't quite there, but still a thoroughly impressive showing. And vengeurR is a player that's always climbing to reach that next level, and is this close from hitting a major victory. We always know and believe in him to be able to do that. This is why, when you look at this kind of play, this is why everyone thinks that.
Yeah. I mean, certainly explosive game. Chat was just like, yes, this is amazing. Great. I love it. There's lots of oohs and ahs. It was what we kind of expected when we saw these two are going to face off in this week's featured matches. It's exactly what we got. I'm always happy that when Quake meets expectations like that.
Right. We have vengeurR on the line. So while you're here, a good day. A good day indeed.
Thank you, guys.
I can see you're still smiling, mate. So congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, while we've got you here, we're going to ask you a couple of questions. The first thing I think Wheat and I are both wondering is, run me by the closing moments of map 1. Because when you had a lot of momentum to work with in, like, not the final, like, sudden death, but leading up into the sudden death, where you kind of push forward a little bit, RAISY is near where LG is, and then we kind of blink and your entire stack disappears. How were you feeling in those closing moments? What was running through your mind?
I think against RAISY, you always have to expect the next set. Well, I was sure I was gonna win, but I just took a bad positioning on the last fight. I was preparing myself to plus back with the rockets in that situation, but it just rushed into my rockets it didn't take any damage. I was really surprised about that, but it is what it is. Props to him for still fighting, which it was not easy for sure to make such a comeback. My fault probably on that map, and to not be able to actually defend my position better, but yeah, it happens.
Yeah, vengeurR, congratulations. I just want to ask a bit of a general question. What is it like playing your teammate like this? I saw you having a lot of fun, especially in map 2 and 3. You were just smiling throughout the entire thing. Is it kind of comforting, the familiarity of playing the same person again? Or is it some kind of pressure to try and be better than your teammates?
Well, I mean, it's always when you're playing against your teammate, you always want to show who is the best, it's normal, I think, in every sport, not only in Quake or esports in general. I think every aspect in life, if there is a team game and you're playing against your teammate, you kind of want to show I'm just a little better. But against RAISY, it's always 50-50. You never know, my record against RAISY is probably 5-6, 6-5. It's never one-sided at all in any map. So I'm really happy that I actually managed to win him, considering past few weeks and how good he has been playing. That was really a tough challenge, and because I also not really been believing in myself that much lately, and I'm always struggling to I'm really capable of winning a major, or I'm just here to do just be a number. I don't want to be a number, so I'm really trying to push myself to the limits every time, and I hope this time is gonna work out for me.
Well, congratulations. We're a little bit over halfway through this stage, vengeurR. And, early on, even coming off of last stage finals, you talked a little bit about how you want to develop your game and kind of create a new ceiling for yourself, a few areas that you wanted to focus on. We're now halfway through, still a lot of games left to be played, but give us a status check in. What's your report card say right, in terms of how you're feeling, changes that you've made, and your expectations for the second half of stage 2?
Well, I have adjusting my game a little bit. Sometimes I was too passive, sometimes I was too aggressive. So we're now choosing situation when to be aggressive and when not. So it's working out for me pretty well. And honestly, I have a lot of tough games coming on for me. I have base, then I have Havoc, then I have Garpy. So it's like every week you have to always be at your best, otherwise you're just gonna lose. And yeah, I just hope I can manage to still win and at least make top 3 my region, which is really, really tough. And I'm trying my best to be up there and then going to finals with a good mindset. Just ready for the challenge, because I hope this time I can win.
And
Awesome.
it just feels like you get closer and closer sometimes. I think a lot of people consider you as a player that has every means to pull off one of these big wins. And I think today's display really shows why, to be honest. But that was a fine answer to end with, I think. So one final congratulations from us. We're looking forward to seeing your matches, 100%. And take care, mate. But everyone, it's been a long day. It's been a good day. But that's all the Quake we have time for. So Flea, any closing notes from you on today's action? Some highlight series, perhaps?
I mean, there's 2 general things that I would like to say, though, before we close. The first is I want to give a big shout out to Kilson, right? I think a lot of people know the man's been having some health issues. He's been tweeting about it a whole lot. And I think it's safe for me to say that we, the commentators, production, and everyone in the community, of course, wishes him the best and hope that he's going to get back to fragging very soon. So Kilson, best of luck to you. Secondly, I also want to remind everyone that there is one more session of challengers left to come. Next Saturday, the final 2 spots for NA and EU will be decided. So if you want to have a shot at making it into the Pro League yourself, next week Saturday is going to be your final shot. Make it happen and give it up.
It's happening. I'm going in. No, I'm not.
Come on, Wheat.
Just put the goggles on. Channel your inner chain. Channel your inner chain.
That's exciting. I'm looking forward to that as well. I mean, challengers have absolutely played a huge part into not only experiencing those great matches and seeing who the potential talent should be, but we've seen players come in and really showcase some phenomenal success. So I have to say that last matchup is such a treat. It's one of those things where it's like it sets a bar. I'm glad that wasn't the first match of the day, because it would have been hard. You would have just been wanting that match over and over. But shout out to all the talent who continues to practice and put in the hours for QPL so that we can have some incredibly entertaining games here on Sunday. And thank you all of the community who shows up and cheers for their favorite player and maybe their favorite player that they don't like too. It's great. That's why Quake is so awesome. And it's great to be here with you both, Ketchup and Flea. So thank you.
It's a pleasure as always, mate. Now, community interaction is what it's all about. That's why I love the 1v1 esport, because it just allows community to really build a relationship with a certain player, and you really kind of grow a link with that player. You love watching them play, cheering them on. Opposite end, like you said, maybe there's a player that you don't like, and it just kind of creates storylines, doesn't it? But from us to you, thank you all so much for watching this latest edition of Quake Pro League. Quake continues same time, same place next week. My name has been Ketchup, joined by Flea, DJ Wheat. Much love, take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.